and that's that silo workflow. It's the other departments don't really understand, oh, this denial manager piece is being used, or it's helpful, or there's something better. That communication is not there. It's not there. Now, I do feel like RCM directors need to be empowered. I have included them in board meetings where they never had a voice before, and I think that's very important, so that you'll see the doctors go, "Oh, I had no idea. I had no idea."
Yeah.
Um,
Well, the last thing there about helping empower the revenue cycle directors to have a voice and to be able to share bad news and shine light on issues, that's critical. So if we're thinking, okay, I want to change how we practice revenue cycle here in our facility, hospital, doctor's office, whatever it is, you're first going to have to sort of do an audit. You need to understand and have written down a good flow chart, whether you write it by hand or do it on a flow chart tool, doesn't matter, of every single step of every single department, and then cross-reference that with breakdown of reporting of root cause of issues you're having, whether it's a denial related root cause that tracks back to maybe an eligibility and benefits procedure that isn't happening. Really the first step, if most folks are kind of getting through the week, getting through the day, making sure whatever's really the hottest fire isn't going to go out of control, but they're really not digging down deeper, we're really I guess advocating for a stronger, more proactive revenue cycle director who takes a strong leadership position. But you can't be uninformed. The folks at the very, very top, they can miss the details. They can not understand that they're subscribing to a denial manager, but no one's using it. But the revenue cycle director, doggone better well know what tools that are at hand, who's using them for what, where do they fall short. You got to take stock of all this. And I think that's really, we've acknowledged the problem. We know we want to change. We know there's tools around the corner that are probably going to help us, but we also know that we have a reality right now. And unless you can really get your arms around that reality holistically, you're never going to succeed in any kind of digital transformation change management. So, for example, I did this in my consulting days, building software platforms. Multi-party workflow is kind of my area I've spent my career building. What I found every single time, this was sort of pre-revenue cycle days, but applies just as much, is that if you ask the person in the corner office or even the manager what's going on, they're going to gloss over so much nuance and miss so many details about what is actually happening and how work is actually getting done, because maybe they've only been there for a year and a half. They only know about the things that were, the really squeaky wheels, so to speak. They don't understand the actual workflow of, what does an eligibility and benefits check mean when someone is coming in for a service that isn't sort of a standard service. It might be carved out. I might have to make a phone call. What about changing authorization? What about the flight of my Medicare traditional patients to Medicare Advantage plans, which have their own separate nuances? So I think where any revenue cycle director can start is to go sit belly to belly, side by side, shoulder to shoulder with folks at the ground level doing each job, and understand which tools they use in which order and what their frustrations are. So really step one as you're leading into a digital transformation is understanding what the heck is going on right now. And so this is where we kind of want to leave you with, sort of the next step is to go through each department, talk to the managers first, get their point of view, then go work with whoever sort of the team lead is just under the manager who's actually hands-on keyboard working, and understand their flow, what goes wrong, what variations are there, and document this in a visual way. This is all the information, sort of the raw information you're going to gather. You're going to summarize it up one or two more levels still before you present it externally to make a change or request a new piece of software or rip and replace of something. First, you got to understand what the hell is going on the ground. And too many folks don't really know the nuance. And there's no way to sort of get ahead of this, around this problem and ahead of the issue and ride the curve of AI without knowing what the heck is going on right now. So that's really the first challenge, is get your arms around the processes and the systems and the tools and the root causes. And then next time, we're going to talk a little bit more about how to surface issues from an analytics and reporting perspective to sort of present internally. So how do you have an RCM director have a voice? Well, they've got to have data, and they've got to present it in a way that is digestible and interpretable. So we'll get into more of that later, but right now, let's focus on just understanding what is going on. Any closing thoughts, Francis?
Oh, no, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's really about giving the RCM director a voice to the people who actually hold the checkbook that can approve the technology, right, that she needs. Yeah, and honestly, one of the things, I will make this my takeaway. I would go in, it's the reactive thinking, right? People are like, okay, I see a problem, let's fix it. That's when they call a consultant in. But 100% of the time I go into a practice, it wasn't what they knew was a problem as much as the incidental findings, the things that I would uncover in the process was more of the hot spots, more problematic than what they actually thought was the core problem. Does that make sense? So it is a lot of the unknown as well as the known reasons for doing what you just described.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all very much for joining RCM Tech Talk. We'll be back next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.